Oh, well. Welcome back, everyone, to the Questing Bard. And happy Halloween, everyone. So, today is going to be a special episode. And I did promise world building and map making, but things have a little bit changed because it is Halloween. And aside from that, I have some news. So, I'm not going to keep promises of every Sunday. I will try for every Sunday, but there's no promise of an episode each Sunday. But I'm going to do my best. Now, on to other news. So, Krista Hesh has not yet responded. It's okay because I also looked it up and she's allowing a nudge. So I looked up what to do with the nudge and how to be polite about it. So I'm going to do that because the deadline has passed for expectation. Also, the best reason to do a nudge to an agent is because if you really feel like they're a really strong match for you. So it's definitely something you should then do a nudge for. So I'm going to do a nudge to Krista Hesh this week. Now, I don't know if I should do it this week or I should do it next week because I did send it on August 3rd. So technically the 3-month time period would be by this coming November 3rd. But the 12-week period, roughly, if you're thinking about the accuracy, has already been up. It's this past week. So it is a bit of a gray area, but I think what I might do is I might wait till maybe next Friday to submit it. I know to do a nudge. Next Friday, you're like, but you guys have a whole weekend and stuff. I don't know if it'll fall into like this whole list of stuff in the mail, and she may not see it on Monday. It's a risk, but I think they'll be pretty accurate. Yeah, I may not hear anything back till Monday, but I'm gonna send it early, maybe like early in the morning. Not too early, not like 12 a.m. No, but ideally when I wake up. So that's gonna be it for Krista Hesh. But I really think she's the best one. We're like a match. I know I said that with Laurel Simmons, though I might have did a slight research miscalculation with that one. I'll explain that in next episode. So for this episode, since it's Halloween, I'm thinking of talking about villains. How to make a villain. I'm going to take this off really quick and I'll be right back. So, how do you make a villain, right? So, personally, a lot of people I've heard a lot of people say this, that making a hero, a protagonist, is harder than making an antagonist. Personally, I feel that making an antagonist is just as hard. And here's why. Because I'm somebody who's kind of integrated to being someone who's good, who's always going to follow the rules, be rule binding. I know I'm so boring. But here's the rub. If you're somebody who doesn't break the rules often, and you're just somebody who's just been a little goody two shoes about it, it's hard to kind of act like a villain. It's hard to think, what would a villain really do? And like, of course, I know it's easy, right? It's easy to just make them do bad things. That's the easy part. But the hard part is making them realistic and to really buy into them being bad or naughty or a villain. Like, what makes a villain genuine is them being realistic. How do you go about being realistic? Well, that's the complex part. Because a villain is just like a hero, except they make the wrong choices. You see what I'm saying? They may not always make the best choices that the hero. So the choice that a hero would make is not the same choice that a villain is going to make. So writing a villain is actually quite hard for me because I'm not used to being being like in bad behavioral stuff. I did, but that was for forgetting homework or being late. Like those weren't like naughty. Those weren't like really bad behavioral naughtiness. No, I never did any of that. I, you know, I could have done better with my life. Could have gotten a bit more, try to get there on time, try to remember to do my homework, actually write it down. Yeah, so that was that was why I got detention. I didn't get detention because, for all the other bad things you could get detention for. So on the extreme, so I wasn't on the extreme. I just had a few rough areas. So how did I go about making my villains? Well, I had to think about things that I kind of did something I regretted or something, things that made me feel guilty. But I'm thinking, would that really work? And I'm like, no, it's a little hard for me. But I'm like, what about my impulses? Like when I really wanted to do something naughty, what would I do? But it was again hard. But then I thought about, think of generally characteristics, things that make someone not care or be somebody that people don't like. And I'm like, okay. So I have one character who's greedy. Greed was their ultimate, like, Achilles heel, like money. Just obsessed with wealth and with luxury and what it gets them. And there are people like that. There are genuinely people like that. And they just think about themselves. They're selfish and greedy and vain. And I do have a character just like that. He won't be introduced in the first book. He's in the second book. As for the second character, I have another villain. And then this villain is this villain's a little bit more complex. I had to really think of how to make him more complex because I want him to be realistic. I want us to connect with him, but at the same time, like, really, you're just making your life miserable. You're just making all the wrong choices, and we know that. So one of the main qualities for this person is power hunger, and that was a lot. That was a lot. A kind of tall order, and to be honest, there are a lot of villains who are power hungry. But then I'm like, I don't want him to simply be power hungry. He has to have a story. He has to have problems, and so I thought, what makes a really good villain is somebody who genuinely thinks they're doing something right. They think they're doing the best they can for humanity, for their society, even though it is literally not healthy and it's not the best way to go about doing it. So that is what I need from this character. So that's what I did. So I had to create a backstory, which actually is very genuine, and you get where he came from. And then you're getting his delusions, his ideas, concepts of how he believes he's genuinely right. Because a lot of times villains just believe that their way of handling and dealing with society is the right way. But obviously the heroes don't think that way. And many of us probably would agree that that's not how you go about doing it. But at the same time, we can see why they would do that. Like, okay, I get where you're coming from, but it's not right. And that's the problem. So I think that's how I go about making villains, creating them. So, we all have our unique way of going about creating villains and heroes and stuff. So please share down below how you create your own villains, your own stories, or, really creative ideas. All right. So that's it for now. I will let you guys know what's coming up soon in the next vlog. Well, that's that. Happy Halloween, you guys, and have a spectacular night. Oh, and before I head off, like, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more future videos like this. See ya.